You ever wonder what a shattered glass and the fate of the entire universe have in common? Well, it turns out they're actually governed by the exact same fundamental rules. So let's dive right in and try to uncover this ultimate rulebook that writes the story of, well, everything.
Nope, seriously, think about it. We see order turn into chaos all the time. A glass shatters, an ice cube melts, but you never ever see the reverse happen all by itself, right? So, why is that? This one simple question, it's actually the key to a really deep, fundamental truth about reality. All right, so here's our game plan. We're going to start with the universe's one-way street. Then we'll meet the culprit behind it all, entropy. After that, we'll look at the epic quest for a single rule to govern everything, connect all those cosmic dots, and finally, see how this whole thing just might redefine reality as we know it. Okay, first step, the universe's one-way street. We're going to explore this irreversible arrow of time. I mean, it's something we all experience every single day, right? Time just flows forward. The past is the past, the future is ahead. But why? Why is it a one-way street? Well, physics has a pretty surprising answer here. See, the reason things don't just unhappen isn't really a rule about time, per se. Nope, it's actually a law about something way more fundamental, this universal tendency for everything to just get messier. And that brings us right to our next section. Meet entropy, the mess maker. This is the universe's fundamental tendency towards disorder. Yeah, you can pretty much think of entropy as the main character in this part of the story. It's the universe's official mess maker. So, what is entropy? Well, in simple terms, it's just a measure of disorder or randomness. And here's the absolute key takeaway. The universe, if you just leave it to its own devices, will always move towards a state of higher disorder. It's almost like it's fundamentally lazy. It just prefers chaos over order. And honestly, this is something we all get on an intuitive level. Think about it. A tidy room, that's a very specific, ordered state. That's low entropy. But a messy room, there are practically infinite ways for it to be messy. That's high entropy. So the universe is really just playing the odds. And the odds, well, they overwhelmingly favor the mess. And this isn't just some vague tendency. This is a law of physics, the second law of thermodynamics. It basically says the total entropy, the total messiness of an isolated system is always, always increasing over time. This is the universe's one-way street. This is the reason that glass shatters and stays shattered. And you can see this arc playing out on a cosmic scale. The entire story of our universe is a story of increasing entropy. It all began at the Big Bang in a state of incredible order, super, super low entropy. And ever since then, it's just been expanding, cooling, and getting more and more disordered. The theoretical end of the line, a state called heat death. That's maximum entropy, a final, quiet, cold universe where everything is perfectly spread out and uniform. No more stars, no more change, just nothing. Nothing interesting can ever happen again. Okay, so we've got the universe's direction locked down. It's a one-way trip to maximum messiness. But what about the rules of the road? What are the laws that govern every single interaction along that journey? Well, that brings us to our next big idea, the quest for one rule, the search for a theory of everything. As it stands, we know of 4 fundamental forces that pretty much run the whole show. You've got gravity, the macro rule for big stuff, electromagnetism, which is basically the light and power rule, and then you have the strong and weak nuclear forces, which are like the atom glue and the decay rule. These 4 forces govern everything we see. But there's a big problem. And the big problem is this. These rules, these different forces, they just don't agree with each other. They're like 4 different rule books written in 4 different languages. And specifically, our best theory for gravity and our best theory for the quantum world, they are just fundamentally completely incompatible. Yeah, it's a real tale of 2 theories. On one hand, you've got Einstein's general relativity. This governs the giant universe of stars and galaxies. It's continuous, it's deterministic. Then, on the other hand, you have quantum mechanics. This governs the tiny, tiny universe of atoms and particles. And it is weird. It's probabilistic, it's discrete. Now, they both work perfectly in their own little worlds. But the moment you try to use them together, say to describe what's happening inside a black hole, they just break. So, how in the world do you unite these 2 completely different realities? Well, physicists have some, let's just say, wild ideas. One of the top candidates is string theory, which basically says that every particle is just a tiny vibrating string, and the different vibrations create different particles. It's kind of cool. Then there's loop quantum gravity, which says that space-time itself isn't smooth, but is made of these tiny, discrete loops or chunks. I mean, these are absolutely brilliant ideas, but here's the catch. We have no way to actually test them. Yet. All right, let's hit pause and connect these cosmic dots. We've got two huge ideas on the table, right? The universe's unstoppable march towards chaos and this grand search for one single set of rules. So how do the rules and the direction actually come together? The best way to think about it is like this. They're two sides of the same cosmic coin. A theory of everything, that would tell you the fundamental rules of the game. What are the pieces and how do they move? But the law of entropy, that tells you the direction of the game. It tells you the inevitable outcome. You absolutely need both to understand the whole story. And when you put them together, suddenly you have this incredible unified narrative of the entire universe. It starts with the Big Bang, where a theory of everything would reign. All the forces unified in a state of perfect, low-entropy order. Then, as the universe expands, the forces separate, and that allows for structure, galaxies, stars, planets. But here's the thing. Every single star that shines is just a massive engine for creating more chaos, increasing the overall entropy. And life itself? We are just these tiny, temporary, beautiful islands of order, and the only way we can exist is by creating a ton of disorder in our environment. It's this one grand cosmic story, and it's all heading in one direction, towards one final destiny. So, where does that leave us? Let's talk about reality redefined. What does this unified picture actually mean for you and me? How does it change the way we see our place in the cosmos? There's this really powerful concept, a single sentence that kind of pulls this all together. It's the idea that the theory of all changes in natural entropy equals nature. Just think about that for a second. If you could actually write a theory that explains all the changes that happen because of entropy, you'd basically have a complete theory of nature itself. What this really means is a pretty radical shift in how we think about, well, everything. It means reality isn't a collection of things. It's a process. It's not a noun, it's a verb. It's this constant, dynamic unfolding from a state of order toward a state of chaos. And that means that life, consciousness, art, everything we build, none of it is an exception to this rule. In fact, you could say we are its most beautiful, most complex expressions. We're like these temporary, intricate whirlpools of order in a vast cosmic ocean that's flowing towards chaos. We don't exist in spite of entropy, we exist because of it. Which of course leaves us with one last massive question. If we are just a fleeting moment of order, this brief, beautiful flicker in a universe that's destined for chaos, does that make this moment meaningless? Or does the sheer, mind-boggling improbability that we're here at all make this moment infinitely precious? I'll leave you with that one. What do you think?